your guy Bendu, and I'm coming at y'all with another video today. So I want to cover this Twitter threads. Yes, I cover Twitter threads. You know, Emma Vigeland likes to make fun of people for reporting news on Twitter. But if you say some stupid shit on Twitter, why should I not talk about it? And if you say some smart shit on Twitter like Ben Norton did, why should I not talk about it? So guess what? Fuck Emma Vigeland. We're going to talk about it. Or however you say it. I don't know if it's Vigilant or Vigilant. I hear people say it different types of ways. Honestly, man, I should stop paying attention to these fucking white people, man. These white folk that's out here tripping. These shit-lived white folk. I don't got a problem with white folk. I got a problem with shit-lived white folk. As y'all can tell, I'm kind of lit right now. But we're gonna go ahead and cover these tweets by my guy Ben Norton. I love the Gray Zone, man. Fucking love the Gray Zone. They do amazing work. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is Ben Norton talking about Haiti. So The Economist put out this tweet. If there were a prize for the world's unluckiest country, then Haiti would surely be a contender. Yeah, as if like, you know, constant pressure from the West because of their successful slave rebellion is considered unlucky, that, you know, that pressure turning them into a third world country, well, what we call third world country, because I don't believe in calling places that. I don't believe that naturally these countries just became third world countries. I believe colonialism, imperialism made that way. So, and third world and first world are words to make people feel better about themselves. But anyway, Ben Norton responds to that by saying, by unlucky, this mouthpiece of billionaires means Haiti has been ruthlessly colonized, exploited, and punished after it waged the first ever successful revolution against colonialism and slavery. After defeating French colonialism, Haiti has ever since been colonized by the U.S. And what he means by that is basically there was a shit deal that was put together that when Haiti overthrew the French in the region, basically under threat of being, you know, basically invaded by all of the Western powers, they had to pay reparations to their enslavers. Yes, you heard that right. This is like, you know, this is like a wet dream for some people, for the ignorant white folk out there. That was like a wet dream. You mean we get paid reparations for getting overthrown? Yeah, that's what happened with the French. There are more natural disasters in Japan, the Netherlands, and Greece than Haiti, but they don't suffer nearly as much because they don't suffer nearly as much, talking about those countries he just named prior to Haiti, because it's not luck, it's about development. Haiti has been exploited and underdeveloped by foreign colonialists. Its earthquakes are class quakes against the poor. Class quakes. Hope I said that right. It sounded weird in my mind. Well, I just said it. Every year, Bundes Edwick Heflift, I don't even know if I said that, Hilft, whatever, Development Helps Alliance, a network of German humanitarian outfits, produces a world risk report. They crunch 27 different types of data to score countries on various metrics, including exposure, susceptibility, adaptation, and lack of coping capabilities. In a report published in 2020, Haiti did not rank as the country hit most by extreme weather on its measurement of exposure. The number and severity of natural disasters, Haiti took 32nd place out of 181 countries. Japan, 10th, the Netherlands, 16th, and Greece, 30th, are all more disaster prone, even when compared with other countries in the Caribbean. Haiti is less exposed than countries such as Dominica and Trinidad and Tobago, countries that are rarely in the news for their earthquakes. And Ben Norton goes on, as at Jeb Sprague wrote after the last deadly classquake in Haiti, instead of investing in social programs and infrastructure that could have helped care for the people, Haiti's government has long been pressured by the U.S. to sell off its infrastructure. So this is an article that he linked to from Counterpunch, and this is from January 20th, 2010, and is titled Haiti's Classquake. Let's go ahead and get into it. Just 5 days prior to the 7.0 earthquake that shattered Port-au-Prince on January 12th, the Haitian government's Council of Modernization of Public Enterprises Enterprises announced the planned 70% privatization of Teleco, Haiti's public telephone company. Today, Port-au-Prince lies in ruins with thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands dead, entire neighborhoods cut off, many buried alive. Towns across the southern peninsula, such as Liogane, are said to be in total ruin, with an untold number of victims. Haiti's president, René Préval, I hope I said that right, and his administration remain largely inept, absent from Port-au-Prince and even the local radio. At Pont Morin in the Bois Verna section of the capital, Teleco's office building is badly damaged. One Twitter poster in Port-au-Prince on Monday warned local residents to evacuate after the latest evaluations of the building. They've noticed that the main poles of the structures are damaged. With masses of people unable to get critical emergency medical care, water, and basic supplies, the lack of local, state, and infrastructure and personnel is plainly apparent. Instead of investing in social programs and government infrastructure that could have helped care for the people of Port-au-Prince, especially following such a natural disaster, Haiti's government has long been pressured by the United States and international financial institutions to sell off its infrastructure, to shut down government-sponsored soup kitchens, to lower tariffs that might benefit the rural community. The demographic trend in Haiti over the last few decades showcases the impact of capitalist globalization. The movement of rural folks to slums in Port-au-Prince, often perched in large clumps precariously on hillsides. Slums begin with bad geology, writer and historian Mike Davis explains in his book, Planet of Slums. Davis describes the explosion of slum communities in today's era of global capitalism. Billions have no choice but to live in close proximity to environmental and geological disaster, Davis explains. In mid-2007, Haitian journalist Wadner Pierre and I wrote a piece for IPS, Enterprise Service, that investigated the gutting of Haiti's public telephone company. We interviewed public sector workers laid off in droves. The government's plan to reduce Teleco employees from 3,293 to less than 1,000 by 2010. Préval's appointed heads of Teleco had terminated employment for 2/3 of the workers at the company. During his first term in office from 1996 to 2001, Préval had sold off the government's minority flour mill and public cement company. Préval now follows through with the Cadre de the CCI, a macroeconomic adjustment program formulated by his unelected predecessor, the interim regime of Gerard Latourre, along with international donor institutions and local sub-grantee groups. Privatization has been one plank of neoliberalism in Haiti. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Haiti was pressured to lower tariffs on foreign rice, bringing down a few protections in place for its local economy. With a lack of opportunity in the countryside, migration to the nation's capital intensified. Hundreds of thousands took up residence in poorly constructed shanty towns, many in hillside slums such as Carrefour. Using the worn-out rhetoric of nationalism to draw attention away from the implementation of policies favorable to global capitalism, government functionaries in Haiti have worked closely with IFI, NGO, and governmental advisors and experts from abroad. For those Haitian politicians unwilling to go along with these plans, the brute force of coup d'etats, economic embargo, and reoccurring civil society training missions from abroad have reinforced the right way to govern, which is basically, hey, give us all your shit or we're going to overthrow you and kill your family in a brutal fashion. And the article goes on, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I feel like that captures the gist of the point that I want to make, and the point that Ben was making in that Twitter thread is, and you know what, and you know who talks about this? Caleb Maupin. He was on, I want to say Jackson Hinkle. I want to say it was on Jackson Hinkle's show. He said this. Or Frank Analysis. Actually, no, it was Frank. It was Franco. It was Frank Analysis. And he was talking about how, you know, the colonialism and capitalism underdevelops countries. Y'all probably tired of me talking about this book. Look, man, I'm gonna finish it eventually. I got it right here too. I'm about to spill all my shit. Hold up. Give me 1 second. This book right here. It's taking me forever to read this book. Oh, hold up. Let me get it there. So you can say, boom, there you go. How Capitalism Underdeveloped Black America. Shout out to my guy Alfred. He sent me this book to read. He got me reading again. I used to be a fast reader. I used to be an extremely fast reader. When I was in 4th or 5th grade. I remember my dad's girlfriend, who's Haitian, ironically. Yeah, shouts out to Miss Dina. She was a teacher in Fort Lauderdale. And I used to go spend Floridas in the summer with my dad. And she used to go into the school during the summer sometimes, and she would let me just go read the library and just sit in the library all day and read all day. And she tested me one time in 4th and 5th grade. I was reading at a 10th grade level. 12th grade level. I'm sorry. I was reading on a 12th grade level. That means I was reading better than 12th graders. And not just like in Florida. Like this is in, because I was in Delaware at that time. I was in Delaware at that time. Yeah, I was, because I live in Delaware. I moved to Delaware when I was very young, but I know Delaware. Ooh, Delaware is like the most like, out of the like a state nobody ever fucking talks about unless it's involving Joe Biden. But even with Joe Biden, Delaware does not get talked about a lot. I actually just learned Delaware is like one of the toughest states when it comes to freedom of information. Yes, because the Tara Reade case, they're trying to get paperwork from the University of Delaware. And let me tell you, the University of Delaware, and I know I'm going on a random tangent, but who cares? Fuck it. It's fucking American autopsy. Y'all know how I get down. Literally the University of Delaware is like a lot of these fucking shit lib havens, that teaches these kids, bullshit, leftism and everything. Like, all the girls there, the feminists and everything. So they bad as hell though. Let me tell you, they bad as hell, man. Oh my God. Woo! I go out there and drink and party sometimes. Let me tell you, man. Whew. But yeah, so they're like very shit liberally. Is that a word? That's probably not a word. I'm just making up words now. But very, shit lib energy flowing all through that place. I remember I was like drunk one time and I was like, whoa, Trump. And this black dude looked like a self-proclaimed feminist type of nigga. He was one of them niggas. He was one of them. He was like, whoa man, we don't fuck with Trump around here, okay? I was like, why not? Because I was drunk, so I was like kind of aggressive. I was like, why? He was like, well, he's oppressing trans people. He doesn't like gay people. He doesn't like women. Have you heard the things he said about black people? I was like, bro, have you heard the things Barack Obama has said about black people? And that nigga black. Yo, have you heard the things Hillary said about black people? This is like a year into Trump's term. So yeah, very, heavy shit lib vibes out there. And surprisingly, like, this school is holding Tara Reade's papers hostage because it will more than likely reveal that Joe Biden did what Tara Reade is accusing him of. And that's one of the main reasons why I believe Tara Reade, because I know that that's going on. So, and it's funny because Tucker Carlson, the fact that Tucker Carlson, his like organization, he has like a journalistic organization. They were actually in court fighting to get that paperwork. I should actually look into that and see what happened with that. I haven't looked into it lately. I should. And the fact, people be like, well, Tucker Carlson's this. Well, why isn't fucking New York Times looking into this? Why isn't The Intercept still looking into this? And maybe they are, because it was Ryan Grimm, Grimm Job, that broke the Tara Reade story and everything. So, but why isn't Majority Report? Emma Vigeland could put her journalistic skills to the test. Her hard traveling. She's done work out here before. I'm not going to sit here and shit on her like that. Well, shit on her. The good work that she does, which is very little. But she came out here to Delaware and exposed a lot of shit going on here. So I give her props for that. Bring that that trepidant journalism out here, and let's get that information out about Joe Biden. Why aren't you talking about it? Why is only Tucker Carlson talking about it? And we know why he's talking about it. He's talking about it for fucking publicity stunt to get points against Joe Biden. So why can't somebody from the left be doing that? Anyway, getting back on topic, I got way off topic. Colonialism and imperialism underdeveloped countries. You saw this happen with Afghanistan. It's the whole bullshit narrative about, all these countries were shithole countries before we invaded. That's the new American exceptionalism I'm getting hip to. So it's no longer the, you'll get the anti-war, like, liberal types and the Trump types and shit like that. There was actually this one tweet. I'm actually going to pull it up and show you guys because I found it was very funny. I almost got into a Twitter beef with somebody because they thought, or a Twitter argument because they thought I said something. They misheard it, but we pieced it up and it's all good. But it was very weird. So Kyle Kalinske, let me find this shit. Kyle Kalinske, all right, here we go. Let me pull it back up. So Kyle Kalinske put this out. So Biden evacuated 70,000 from Afghanistan without a single American death, and corporate media is still going with their hair on fire, full meltdown bullshit. Stunning propaganda campaign, only rivaled by the buildup to Iraq. Shame on them all. This guy responded, if the U.S. set up an airlift from nearly any city in Asia, Africa, or Latin America, there'd be thousands crowding to leave. Chaos, government repression, violence, and heartbreaking stories. Survival in the U.S. isn't easy, but it's easier for most than life on these 3 continents. And I find that weird because that, to me, that is the neo-progressive, neoliberal mindset of American exceptionalism. Like, they'll acknowledge all the fuck shit that, you know, the US government does, but they'll just like say shit like that. Like, yo, first of all, there's a lot of country, you know, there's a lot of countries out there doing very well for themselves. Some of them in many ways better than the fucking United States, my guy. You need to get out of the fucking States and go see that shit. And this is coming from somebody who's never been out of the fucking States. But I've heard other people say that, and I've seen their experiences and how it's changed their minds. So that's one thing. So that's the one side. That's the, you know, the neoliberal, neo-progressive, you know, brain when it comes to imperialism. Then you have this new Trumpist, you know, this new Trump anti-interventionist, anti-war group that's like, yeah, the wars are bad, but these countries were shitholes before, you know, we even went in there, and they're going to be shitholes long after. Yeah, stop it, B. A lot of these countries were underdeveloped by colonialism, by any of the Western powers, whether it's the fucking United States, whether it's France, or Germany, whatever fucking country, European, Western country you want to talk about. So that's a bullshit talking point that we got to start pushing back on as well. And, you know, like I said, Gray Zone is doing the Lord's work. Ben Norton pointing that fuckery out, and I'm glad he's doing it. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna close the video out there, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Emphasis on all that. And follow one of the beautiful social media handles up there. Show your boy love there as well. And yeah, peace.